First of all, we're excited. When we had a great conversation a couple months ago, and I told Rob, if we can get some flexibility and maybe a first-round pick at the trade deadline, it would be great for our organization. And I want to really congratulate Rob. He did an outstanding job of working the phones and really bringing back something that I could get behind. That's going to be great for what we want to achieve here, which is first we want to get back to the playoffs. Then we want to get back to being a championship team. This gives us the flexibility to achieve those things. And we want to first of all say that we gave up two outstanding players, but also two outstanding men. They've been really wonderful for Laker Nation. Jordan, I love him because everything that we ask him to do to get better, body fat, trim it down, he's been able to do, and he was having an outstanding season for us. And then Larry is just Larry. I mean, he's provided so many thrills for our fans in terms of his dunks, his block shots, and we also value both of us the relationship that we had with Larry too, and so both him and Jordan. So we had to give up some special guys to get the flexibility that we've been looking for, and that is needed to get us to where we want to go. So it's a great day and a bittersweet day because Rob and I like these two guys a lot. And then Jeannie, really, it was tough for her. Jeannie loves her Lakers, and she become fond of all the guys. And so she's just like her father. She never wants to trade any of her guys because they're more to her than just players that wear the purple and gold. But she got on board, and we had a great conference that said, hey, we have to do this deal for the future of the Lakers, for now and the future. So I'll let Rob say a few words, and then we'll answer questions. But this is what I came here to do, was to create flexibility for our organization so that one day we can have a superstar or two come to this organization with our incredible young talent that we have, that we will continue to grow. And, the Lakers right now, we're on a good run, and we're playing some good basketball. So I want to thank Coach Walton and the players for really playing some good basketball right now. So it's tough for them too because two of their friends also got traded today. So, Rob?
Yeah, so I think this is a bittersweet moment for us. But overall, if you look at the pathway to the great teams and success in the NBA, most of the time it's through a road where a team has great flexibility and draft assets to seize opportunities to get the elite players in the game. And I think we probably more than any organization in the NBA right now have the healthiest salary structure, the healthiest flexibility. We replenished the fact that a draft pick for 2018 had gone out as part of the Steve Nash deal from a few years back. Now we replenished that first-round pick with this deal. We created more flexibility. And lastly, we added two shooters to our lineup, which is something that Magic really wanted to see. Fry is an outstanding shooter. Isaiah Thomas, of course, has shown the ability to make big shots and threes. So this trade kind of hit on all fronts. Yeah. It gave us great flexibility. It gave us our draft pick back, and it addressed a need that our team has right now, which is making three-point shots. The bittersweet part, of course, is that, as Magic said, Larry Nance, we love everything about him, who he is as a person and a player. Jordan Clarkson has been amazing. He's grown up here. But sometimes when you're like this building that we're in right now, there's stages of it, of the construction to get and build something beautiful, sometimes you have to tear down a corner, or you have to redo the kitchen, in the remodel on the house, and that can be hard when you're doing it. But the end product is something that's great, just like this training center that we're in. It took years to build. This was an essential step for us to get a playoff team and a championship caliber team back to the Lakers, which is the sole goal that Irvin and I have working together. We're excited, too, that there's a heart element to this. Larry Nance gets to go home and play for his hometown of Cleveland. Mm-hmm. So when I talked to his agent today, I just said, hey, sometimes trades are win-win, and we're excited for him there. And Jordan Clarkson hasn't had a chance to be on a playoff team, so this gives him a chance to do that. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is just a transaction that worked for everybody involved.
Yeah, for Cleveland and for us.
Irvin, knowing how you were as a player and how close you were to your players, how difficult was this move when you consider your relationships as a player as opposed to now your personal obligations as the position you have here with the team?
Well, Jim, it's hard because, I became really fond of Jordan, and Larry. Rob and I really thought coming into this season they would be the key for our team to take another step. We stayed on Jordan to get better, and he did. And we always wanted to uplift Larry because we know he has great potential. But Jim, as we all know, if you're going to get something great, you got to give up something great, right? And so it was hard for us to give up our two young players, but I don't want to stay in 11th place, and I don't want this organization to stay there, right? So we have to make moves to be able to put us in the playoffs, in position to sign great free agents one day, or it's not just to sign free agents, or have the flexibility if a trade may come of a superstar. So, we can get them a number of ways. So this is really a good move for our organization, but also good for those two guys because they're going to be in the playoffs and have a possibility maybe to even go to the championship. So it's good for them too, good for Cleveland, and good for us.
So just to fill in some of the nuances on the trade, Jim, you raise a good question, is that right now the NBA landscape is, we all know, there's very little cap room.
Yep.
And the teams that have it are going to be able to use it in a great way. There's multiple ways you can use it. You can use it to keep some of your own players, and that's something we'll evaluate with Julius Randle, who's playing outstanding. KCP, Brooke Lopez, will certainly continue to evaluate those free agents. Now Isaiah Thomas and Channing Frye and the other guys that'll be free agents here. You can also use it, to Magic's point, to do a great trade. If there's a team that's trying to get off a player, a potential star, or you can take salary in to your space and get draft assets. There's so many different ways you can use that. And then, of course, the obvious way is if we now have in 2018, in July of 2018 and July of 2019, we now have real 100% space to do two max players if that's what we decide to do, or one in 2018 and then following it up with another one in 2019. So the flexibility is really amazing, and if you break it down and study the cap, I think we feel like we're the most strongly situated franchise in the NBA in terms of where our cap stands.
There was a report that you guys had decided to move on from the summer of 2018 and that you were turning your focus to 2019. Is that accurate?
That's not accurate. I think what's accurate is that we have the ability to look at both. And so we'll, in addition to all the other things I said, it's not either 2019 or 2018. It could be one in each year if we wanted it to be, 2 in 18, 2 in 19, or just sticking with our young core, growing these guys. We'll have many things to look at, and we'll make those decisions when they come.
Rob, when you go to recruit players, is it better to have more room that you could recruit 2 players to come as opposed to recruiting 1?
Well, I think too, it's just what we need is the flexibility. And so I think that it's not one thing or another. It's an opportunity for us to make sure that we have the flexibility that we can recruit. You know, because when you go out, you may target one or two, but you may say, hey, there may be some smaller guys too. So it's not just two guys; it might be four guys. So go ahead, Rod. But that's what we're looking for, just the flexibility.
And the NBA is full of surprises, and I think if you look at teams that are doing really well right now, if you look at the Boston Celtics in the East, they had flexibility to take advantage of a very unique situation that happened in the offseason. We can't talk about specific players' names, but they were they were in a position to take advantage of an unexpected, unique opportunity that has led them to be an elite team. We now are in that position as the Lakers. We weren't before the deals we made, and those opportunities will come. We know that. This is the platform that players want to be on in Los Angeles, and now we're poised to wait for those opportunities to come and seize the right one for the franchise.
That's right.
How do you sort of reconcile the hope to maybe get those elite players quickly, which obviously elevate the team faster than some of the more incremental moves, but those you can accomplish quicker as opposed to having maybe wait 2019, that doesn't work, it's 2020. How do you kind of reconcile those two things?
I think with confidence. I think the way Irvin and I have both run our businesses and lived our lives is you operate in a position of strength and confidence. And we have a very clear belief in what we want to accomplish. And let's face it, in this league, you can't have an elite team if you don't have the elite players. Yep. So that has to be the strategy if you want to be elite.
Or we'll stay where we are, and I don't want to stay where we are. I don't want to be on the outside of the playoff looking in. We have to take another step, right? And so this move allows us to position ourselves to hopefully take that next step. And so, which is get into the playoffs and be one of the best teams in the West and in basketball. And so, and it's not just the money, it's also that draft pick, very important.
So however you guys end up using the flexibility, whether it's this summer, next summer, it's everything trades, whatever is in the ultimate goal of finding a path to an elite player.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing you have to look at in this deal is we were able to keep our core intact. We had, I think, around the league, the number of calls we got on our young players is staggering. But I think it's just a reassurance that we drafted really, really good players.
That's a great point.
Josh Hart has emerged as 3 double-doubles for a guy that was drafted in the 25 to 30 range. That doesn't happen for a guard. And obviously Brandon Ingram continuing to just grow. The move he made the other night in the paint is an elite move. Mm-hmm. Lonzo hopefully will be back soon. We all know the impact he has had on the team. Kyle Kuzma, people say, has been the steal of the draft. I think Thomas Bryant, South Bay Lakers, has really emerged. So we feel very confident that with this new first-round draft pick that we got today, we're going to have another player that's suited and tailored to that young core. And then when the right elite player or players comes along, we'll seize that and add them to our young core.
Is Isaiah definitely playing here, or has there been any talk about the potential buyout with him?
Isaiah's playing here. We can't wait to get him here. He's so excited. Magic, you can tell him. We talked to him today.
Yeah, we talked to him. He's so excited. He said his father born and raised in Inglewood, so he's really excited. And also, too, right now Zoe's hurt. We need a point guard. And so especially with that type of experience and the fact that he can score the basketball and pass it. So we want to get him in here fast, and we told him that. And because he's day to day, Zoe is, we don't know when he's coming back. And so we need somebody to come in there and lead our troops. Brandon's been doing a fabulous job, but we got to get another guy in here. That's why IT was important for us to make this move. And also a veteran that can also help Lonzo. Hey, this is what you need to look for when you're playing against this guy. Also, this is what I've been doing in terms of my regimen on how I worked out. all those things. We didn't have anybody to teach Lonzo anything, and hopefully IT can come in and do that.
Did you guys have any substantive conversations that would have gotten you off of the dang contract?
We wish, huh? No, that didn't happen. Thanks, though. You want to make a move for us? No, I think we want to say this about Luol. Him and his agent, Rob has been working very well with them to try to get him to a place where he can be happy. But there's not been a trade for him. And he understands that, and he knows that.
And I think it's important to add this. I mean, Luol has been an unbelievable
Yeah.
professional
Yeah.
and has stayed very positive.
Exactly.
He understands the situation, and at some point we'll figure out a way to resolve that. That's a win for him and for us. But this trade deadline wasn't the window for that to happen.
We didn't have what you may have heard in other locker rooms that's been problems. We haven't had that here. And so, and that's, I want to really say thank you to Luol, because he could have been another way, right? And, but Rob working with him, Rob working with his agent, I think everybody wants the best for the Lakers and for him, okay? And if we can, that can happen. If it could have happened before the trade deadline, we would have did that. But we'll see what happens in the summertime.
Imagine, what's your confidence that you will be able to lure two elite players, whether it is next summer or combined?
Wouldn't have made the move if I wasn't confident.
You
Still
too.
the same.
Still the same. I wouldn't have made the move. I mean, we have got to take the next step. And I like our core. I love the way Julius is playing right now. This is the best I've ever seen him play. And we want to see him continue to do that. But also, I like, Rob already explained, the other guys have been playing great. But again, we're still on the outside looking in. No matter how good we've been playing, we're not in the playoff. We're not one of the top 8 teams in the West, and that's just the bottom line. So I don't want to stay in this position. I want to have us be in the playoffs, and the only path to that is to add to the roster we already have. And that's what Rob and I stay up nights. We get up 4 or 5 in the morning talking already on the phone. Then we both go work out. Then we talk all the way to the facility. Then we in the building working out. Last night we didn't leave till I don't know how late last night, and so we continue.
We fell asleep on the phone together around midnight.
Exactly. He calls me and I'm like, oh man. And Cookie and his wife think we're crazy,
Right.
but we know that what we're working toward. We have a strategy, just like we had a strategy here at the trade deadline. Rob executed it in a flawless manner. It cost us 2 guys that we love and we admire, and we told them that the facility is open to them. Come back. Larry came and said goodbye to the guys. I thought that was very professional of him. But that's the type of guys that we have on this team, right? They love each other. But at the same time, we have got to put this franchise in a position. We've been struggling for a long time. I like exciting teams too. We're exciting to watch, no question about it. We're exciting to watch. But we're still the 11th best team in the West, and we
Last
can't
two
stay there.
questions.
In the here
Last
and
two
now,
questions.
how do you see when Lonzo's back, him and IT?
Well, Lonzo is our starting point guard. That hasn't changed. And so he's a young man that gives us so many different options and what he could do. But we also value what IT could bring to this team. I think he can give us some of that scoring punch that left with Jordan. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we talked about.
I think the other thing you have to realize about Isaiah Thomas and Lonzo Ball is they can play together.
Yeah.
Lonzo's 6'7", long arms,
Exactly.
is one of the elite point guard defenders in the league, so he can guard 1s, 2s, 3s, and I think there's going to be points in the game where they have heavy minutes playing together.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah's
in the fourth quarter.
Isaiah's probably more of a natural scorer. He was second in the league in scoring last year, or top, so that's his bread and butter is to score. So those guys can play together. If anyone that's painting it as an either or
No.
just doesn't really understand the game.
And it's all about, it's not about starting, it's about how many minutes you get, right? And so he's going to get a lot of minutes. because that's what we brought him here for.
Do you
is
guys
to
I'm
play.
sorry.
Given the success of the scouting department and what you guys have done in the draft, was there any extra motivation of trying to get back into the first round?
Of course, of course. I mean, again, between the scouting department led by Jesse Buss, and then what Rob and I saw with our own eyes, we got the numbers, but the numbers don't tell the whole story. It's also, you got to see him play. You got to talk to him. So Jesse and his group did an outstanding job on every player, and then also even Larry and Jordan Clarkston. I mean, on and on. Julius Randle, even before we got here, and so. But also too, we want to see him, talk to him, and that's why we came together and made all the moves that we made. So yes, we wanted to get back into the first round, but also too, we may not use it. We may do something with it. So it gives us so many different options, right? So that's what it's all about.
Do you guys expect?
It got three people talking at the same time.
As you said, you guys expect? Okay.
Tanya, where's Tanya?
I just wanted to ask if you were surprised by the tampering ban.
Yes, and still surprised.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
There it is.